guys. So, let's talk about this. So, I think a lot of people think that SMP is easy because it's just. I've heard that it looks easy. I hear that a lot. It looks easy, and I've heard comments that it's not artistic. That it's not artistic. No. It looks easy because it's just tiny little dots. You know, that's what. So let's. I've been dying to have you guys address that.
This is what everyone.
So do you call them dots?
We do, annoyingly, but we don't want to. But because we'll say to our students, so when you're doing your dot placement, and we're like, it's so much more than a dot. And we're like, it's an impression. You're making an impression with a needle and pigment in the skin.
And then we've got them like little fly hairs as well. And they're like, well, there's a fly hair.
And it's just follicles. And it's sort of like, because it isn't just a perfect little dot. Like, you're using particular needles, which we'll probably come on to, but particular needles, the way you implant that you're penetrating in the skin. And it's... So we do probably do ourselves a disservice saying dots. But
and actually, lots of people because we've done a few demos at conferences and events, permanent makeup and tattoo events, and people that have come over and watched, one thing they've said is, "Oh my god, I thought that doesn't look as easy as what I thought it was actually gonna be," and actually, it's not.
It's not because
it's
you've
actually
got
not. It's all to do with your hand like muscle memory, because you have to kind of. You absolutely
There's no room
have to
for error, is there? Like, it's so
you have to hit it at the same pressure, and then obviously towards the front of someone's hairline, it's obviously super lighter pressure. And everyone's got different heads. Right. Some people have got
if they're really textured or like they've got pitted, haven't they? One of our models,
if someone's got
we were working on this week, she had like one part was like really smooth, and then the next bit is like just going into butter. Yeah. So like you're literally 2 dots away from each other. And the skin was completely different. So you've got to be like for 4 hours, 3 hours consistently on your game that every single movement.
You can't. There's no room for
could change.
How long do you? So if you have some like a dude come in who's bald and you're doing a whole head.
Yep.
Can you do a whole head in one session?
Over
or
3.
Do they leave with a half a head
I always
done?
say. So this is my thing that we say. So scalp micropigmentation is like building a house. It's usually over 3 sessions. Sometimes you can get density, depending on the area, in 2 sessions. But let's just say it's over 3. So the first session, you lay down your foundations. So we like to put our dots, impressions in where you can maybe get around 3 or 4 other dots. Yeah, so that's the space in between.
So the first session is lots of spacing.
Lots of spacing. To allow, obviously, for
it to settle.
In the skin.
And it grows a little, or to breathe.
Yeah, just basically. At the end of the day, we're putting ink into the skin. Right. It can expand slightly. It needs to settle, and we want to see how it heals. And it will probably take you till next year if you put in a million dots on someone.
And I think that's probably most critical to the aging. A lot of questions I get asked, and I just got asked this today by one of my apprentices who's very, very interested in scalp work. Is how does it age?
Done right, very well.
Very well.
Yeah.
And this is why you take it over the 3 sessions, and this is why. So you have the foundations in, and then the next session when they come back in, you're building the bricks. So you're then going in between them little impressions, dots, and then the 3rd session you're putting your furniture in. So you can bring a hairline forward if you want to bring it in. You can add a little bit of depth from darkness.
We sometimes change colour. We might switch up our needle configuration.
So it's very artistic.
It is
very, very if you're doing something bald, you have to draw on their hairline.
The thing is with permanent makeup, and let's take you measuring eyebrows. You're kind of trying to get the eyebrows exactly the same both sides. Well, actually, a hairline. You try and measure a hairline and you can't. You actually do have to, obviously you can measure it, but you have to use your eye.
So your artistic eye for symmetry.
Yeah, because someone's
there's no
head is
measuring
just
tools
the same.
Per se.
And people have lumps, bumps, scars.
There's
all sorts that goes on the head.
We teach the students.
The head's very vascular. It's very vascular.
So vascular.
Yeah. And that's again another reason why you can't, because you can never double dot. If you double dot, so once you go in with scalp micropigmentation, once you go into the skin and your needle has pierced the skin, you cannot go over that again on the first
Which
session.
Students always want to do. They're like, oh, I missed it. Nope, don't.
Just leave it.
Just leave it.
Leave it. Let it heal. Go back to it when they come back. When they come back.
If you go into the same dot,
you will cause a blowout.
You'll cause a blowout.
You've already got that vacuum.
Yeah. It's so vasculous up there. The blood to the head, and it's thin. It's very, very thin. You don't need to go in twice.
So just like every single area of permanent makeup or tattooing, whether it's an eyebrow or eyeliner, lip, areola, scalp, each procedure has its own set of challenges,
Yeah, exactly
technical
that. Yeah.
challenges,
Yeah.
design challenges, all kinds of challenges. So that I knew the answer to that, but I wanted you guys to answer for our listeners to hear you speak on that. I did scalp work back in the day. I did
Oh, I
whole
love
heads.
that.
I did.
Did
I don't
not
know if I
know
ever
that.
told you. Did not know
No, I
that.
didn't
No.
know either.
I did. I probably did about, I would say maybe 15
Yep.
total bald heads in my career.
Did you enjoy it?
I
'Cause
did.
it's not for everyone, and
it-
we get
no.
that, don't we? It's not
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah, and it wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't for me. But I got headaches. It
Yeah.
gave me
Oh,
headaches.
okay.
Mhm.
Concentration.
Yes.
You do
You
go
see-
home sort of dreaming
Yeah.
of dots.
I would
don't
end
you?
up seeing
You too. Dots.
what do you call it? Like a what's that word? An aura of
You do.
of
You
dots.
close your eyes, and that's what you.
We
that's
have
to
what I
step
see.
away,
Yeah,
don't
like
we?
you
have
know
to step
those
away.
pictures of dots, and you stare at them, and,
And you
see
might
an
see
image.
something.
And it all goes in.
I can't look at them.
Oh.
I get a damn headache. Well, you get headaches, Willow. Can you look at those paintings that are all dots and try to find the image within it? Yeah, I look at them. So I'm headache sensitive anyway. A lot of things give me a headache. So when I started getting into it, I liked the technical work of it, and you have to be a very critical thinker doing scalp
Very,
work,
yeah.
and it's very methodical,
Yeah.
which is right along with my personality of having OCD and perfectionism, being very methodical. But I discovered that it gave me really bad migraines.
It can. To be fair,
Yeah.
we suffer with headaches, don't we? And but
Yeah.
I tend to wear my magnifiers, and then I'll take them off, and even that straight away I feel like I can't see properly for
Yeah.
a minute. So you just let your eyes adjust, and sometimes you do just
I
sort
think
of
it's
step
just
away,
learning.
don't
I think
you?
it's just learning how
your
your
limits as well.
Yeah, your own limitations. Like, and I do tend to sort of step away. Like Kerry said, we do step away. You should step away anyway, because you can get way too involved
Yeah.
and start tattooing
Yeah,
where you don't
we
even
do
need
say
to
that
be.
step
At the end of the
away.
day, you will see scalp, whether it's been tattooed or not, whether it needs it or not. It shouldn't be completely covered, should it?
That's it.
Yeah,
I think it's just limitations, but I get headaches anyway, regardless of scalp or PNU.
Yeah,
so
me too.
I
I'm
would
sensitive,
be struggle
so it's
to-
probably why they
Concentration,
really bother.
frowning, and
Yeah. Well, and they're tiny little dots.
And I think the
mean,
more you do, again, because it's the muscle memory, it's like obviously you have to concentrate along with any kind of form of tattooing. But I think when you first start, you concentrate more, and I think you stiffen up. I think a lot of our students, what they say is they stand really, really stiff.
clenching their bums or
I mean,
butts, as you
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Well, I said to Kerry actually, this is quite funny.
I know what you're going to say.
I said to Kerry the other day, I was stood in your salon clinic. Is that what I don't know what you
Studio.
I was stood in your studio, and I went to I said I've got a really tight butt. She said
A tight butt.
what? I realised that I was squeezing and holding my bum
Clenching.
in whilst I was working, like clenching. So I must have looked like I had a cauliflower bum. And then I realised that you had a camera in your room.
Yeah, me and Kat we were me, Kat, Willow,
What
and
is
Olivia,
her
we were all over
arse
here zooming in
doing?
on your cauliflower butt, laughing.
But it does. We do. We both stand. You're like.
So I genuinely think you do
clenching.
So you
stiffen
tense
up.
up.
When you've done it a long time.
Which
and
can give you a headache and a migraine.
massively,
Because that's one of
yeah.
the big things is make sure your face and your head and your neck is relaxed.
You do, don't you? Even
Headaches.
now, like I'm relaxed
Yeah.
doing it and I enjoy it. But you do sometimes, like
Well, you
if
know
I'm
what
doing
I did a
pressure,
lot?
you set your
Watching you,
shoulders
aren't
and
they?
stuff.
Well, you
don't
know what I did a lot of was back in the day, I stopped doing the full heads, but what I remained doing a lot of until kind of there was just no more clients for it was men would get transplants.
Ah.
And they would have the transplant scar
Scar.
in the back of the
The
head
track.
from ear
Done
to
loads
ear.
of
The FUT,
Yeah.
yeah.
I used to fill those in a lot. And because I could get that done in a couple of hours.
And it looks amazing,
and it
doesn't
looked
it? What a
amazing.
result.
And you can, talking about the couple of hours as well, because obviously it is your choice as an SMP artist whether you want to stand there for 4 hours or not. You can
Right.
just make
Right.
some clients might
someone
not
that
want to.
Splits it, don't you?
Yeah, so a friend of mine, she is a PMU artist as well, and she does SMP, and she gets so bored. She can't concentrate for more than 3 hours at a time. She likes to see different clients. She likes her day mixed up.
Yeah.
So she actually gives 2 hour sessions for SMP and just brings them back more. And actually that's okay with her clients. They don't mind that. They
So
don't know
do
any
you think
different
it's
anyway.
a certain personality that is going to really take to SMP and enjoy, because you want to enjoy your work.
Potentially, but I think we're
just think
probably
just
not
manage it
the
how you wanna-
personality to
Yeah.
enjoy it, are we really? Because so I've got ADHD combined, so I'm all over the show anyway.
Right.
So I hyper focus, but then I get bored really quickly.
Okay.
But weirdly, and I think we've both said the same, haven't we? Because you're chaotic as well. I've self-diagnosed her as ADHD as well because I've got it, so she has. But and I am a bit OCD, but weirdly, I find it so therapeutic. Which, if I stereotyped my personality, that wouldn't be the case.
Yeah,
but
I can see where that could be therapeutic because you almost can get lost in it.
You do. Exactly
because you're doing the same movement over and over and over and over and over. Almost like a trance.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a trance. It is a trance. So one Brie said that she, I think it was Brie. Yeah, she said that she went, oh my God. So Brie was one of our students this week. She said, oh my God. She said, I didn't realise how much I was going to love this. She was like, I wanted to give up PMU. She went, I want to do this all the time. Now, actually, there's a few of our students that actually don't even really entertain PMU anymore because they've been so successful with SMP. Because let's face it, it's not as saturated.
No. So it's not. So let's talk about that. So SMP is, and I have a question that I do want to ask you about a gadget. I call it a gadget, but me and Willow, we saw it. And I'm going to ask, don't let me forget to ask that, Willow. But I want to segue into